I think for me it was the same. It was a very early interest, and I struggled a lot because both my parents were professors, language teachers. So they wanted me to become as well a professor to keep in the family trait, right? So it was very stressful for me growing up to manifest my interest in drawing and arts because it wasn't, I don't know, my dad was a really macho type guy, so he would always say, like, that's not for boys, like art is for girls. Dude, what are you talking about? He would be so unconsiderate and say a lot of hurtful things. But through decades of work, I think I've proven myself that it's something wonderful, and I think art found me. It wasn't me. I think art like chose me and looked out for me because I wasn't able to do other things. Like everything else failed for me. Only art was consistent and steady. So I think it saved me for other purposes of my life. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, the only thing is that it was hard for people to understand that that was me.
Now, we can see up here, kind of their drawings they have going on. Looking good. There's been a ticket malfunction, so I'm gonna have to take these home with me instead. Sorry, the roll got lost. No. So I'll talk about these characters and so, coming back to Dark Side. Is there? I know it's like picking your favorite kid, but is there somebody that you just love to draw? Like anytime it comes across either a commission or a job, that you're just like, heck yes, sign me up.
For me, it is always Batman. I could draw Batman every day for the rest of my life and be the happiest person. There's something about that silhouette and getting to play with the Knight of Gotham and black of his costume and just that stark symbol in the middle. Like, I think he's a perfectly designed character with so many ways you can go.
For me, I find myself really happy doing youth type characters, like teenagers or younger characters, because my style is very cartoony, so I think fits well to the general aspect of a teenage character, like sassy, fun character. So I think probably animals or creatures, pets, teenagers. I think that's my stuff. So any Spidey character as well is fun. Like dynamic stuff.
Yeah. And then, so that's another, becoming an artist. So I'm sure most of you know, just in case, you have interior artists who draw the inside and the panel to panel and the action and stuff, and you have cover artists. You can probably figure out what they draw. And you guys, I've seen y'all do both. What's the challenge in telling a story in a cover? Assuming it's not like a pinup one, but like the challenge in telling the story in a cover versus the challenge telling the story in 9 panels or, sequentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different challenge, but the challenge remains the same. Like you said, it's telling the story. Even if it's a pinup cover, I feel like you have to tell a story in some way. I try not to do those because they bore me. I always try to do something a little exciting or different, which I remember I got a gig to do a 12-issue run of covers on a Flash book. I was very excited. And I did 2, and one was like a Spider-Verse styled one where Wally is running past a car, a window, and like you see reflected in the thing he's already passed, and then the thing in the front of him and all this stuff. And then I did one, it was kind of like a 60s retro poster thing, and they were like, oh, these are great, but like, maybe one where he's like running at the camera. And I was like, I'm out. That 98% of Flash covers are the Flash running at the camera. And so I just didn't want it. That's not exciting for me. And like, you wouldn't have got my best work. And so I'm very much a believer in everything I put out is kind of my legacy. So I don't want to put out anything just for a paycheck or anything. I want to be proud of everything.
not selling it, damn the man.
Exactly.
Same thing, but.
I think they have commonalities as well. They have the narrative aspect. At the end of the day, they have to tell a story, but one is supposed to be much more impactful, easily read. I'm talking about the covers, whilst the interior art is unfolded through time, right? It's a time and space constricted in a set of pages. So you have much more opportunity to develop something. And the cover is, I think, is an immediate response type thing, and both are fun, but I think I struggle because sometimes I want to draw, while doing covers, things that don't make sense, that they're not tied to the story, because I feel entitled to do so as an artist. I feel that my job is to expand the universe, not to be following the rules, right? If it's canon or it's not, I don't worry about those type of things. I just want to do my stuff. And sometimes publishers or editors, I think they don't trust enough artists. They ask you for certain aspects and things that they have to be coherent with something that happens in the book. But I think covers are very fun as well. I mean, they're supposed to be fun. So I struggle, but I find myself trying to engage into new and exciting compositions, and I color myself in doing covers as well. So it's something that I have total control, and that's always, I don't know, flavorful for us. We enjoy doing it because we have control over it.
I'm glad you talk about that, about the cover reflecting the interiors and stuff, because, back in golden silver age, the covers were, Batman's dating a mermaid and Jimmy Olsen's turning into a turtle, and they put it on the cover.
Literally the best covers of all time.
And nowadays, sometimes it reflects and sometimes it doesn't. Is that, do y'all get to see the interiors or the script sometimes, or do they just say, hey, draw flash running at the screen?
For the most part, they'll give you an idea of what the writers planned for the issue, but just the nature of publishing now, the covers have to be done so far in advance that the art pretty much hasn't even been started yet. So you're just kind of hearing what the writer's intent is and then figuring out something from there. And then sometimes they're just like, give me a cool Batman cover, and you just give them some ideas.
There's a process also when you elaborate or produce a couple of sketches for them. And it's well known that they'll pick the one you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
They'll always pick that one. The one you don't want to draw, that's the one they'll pick.
A thing you'll learn in this industry is once you get to the point where you just turn in the one idea, you're good. Because that's where I am now, and I love it.
Mitch, this one's a little more for you. You work with Tom King a lot.
Oh, that monster.
What's it been like forming a bond and, re-collaborating over and over again versus just getting a script from, I know there's always, hopefully, some level of communication, but, has it developed to where you have your own shorthand, or is he just like, I trust you draw this, or you give feedback and say, hey,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it should be this?
No, the way Tom and I work now is I still like full script. So he writes the script, and then, but the cool thing with Tom is that he's very much collaborative. So he's like, whatever you want to change or do because you think it'll visually work better, do that, and then I can just change dialogue, whatever, etc. But we very much have a shorthand. We sit there and text or call each other literally 7 days a week. So I talked to him a little bit ago for about an hour. I know, right? He just came back from Paris. We're doing, if you don't know, we've been working on the Mr. Miracle animated series for 6-7 months now. 6-7. And he just came back from Paris because the animation studio we're using is a French studio. And so they had a big meeting and stuff. But yeah, no, I love working with Tom. Just recently, I wrote something for myself, the Wonder Woman Black and Gold special. That was a ton of fun. I hope to do more of that in the future. I also just did a one-page Batman thing for Chip Zdarsky's editing a Mad magazine special. So me and Scott Ackerman wrote the script, famous comedian, podcaster guy. But yeah, so it's different, but like I feel very lucky in that I've worked with a lot of writers who are just like, trust me to do my thing.
Tom comparison here,
I know, right?
we're more fun.
Exactly.
Yep.
When you get a script, like, kind of walk us through your process of getting the script, breaking it down, and then if, you do have questions for the writer or anything like that, kind of what do you do?
Well, I don't like to read them. Like I like to figure them out while I'm working, but I don't take the time to read the scripts, like at all. I mean, I do read them, but through the work, through the process. So I might make mistakes and have to sometimes go back and fix them. But I do enjoy I don't like to have a spoiler. I don't know. I'm enjoying the story as well. I'm living the story. So I don't like to get it spoiled beforehand. So I always leave, I don't know, like the last pages while I'm drawing. I don't read them beforehand. Like before I'm going to draw them, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I read them as I'm drawing because I want to be surprised. I don't want to overthink the pages. I just want them to flow. And it's helped me to develop certain instincts that I wasn't aware I had, where I don't hesitate and I just start doodling and finding the page. That's how I call it, just finding it. Because I know it's there, so I try to close my eyes and just see it in a flash, as if it was a movie, right? The scenes, everything. And I don't do a lot of sketches. I just go straight to the page. As I'm reading it, I'm drawing it, right? I don't stop. I don't try to overthink stuff. I just go with the flow. And I think the most successful pages, narrative-wise, has been like that. Do not overthink it. Just let it flow. Let it speak.
Yeah. DC Collection hates me because I don't do any sort of preliminary work. I don't get paid for preliminary work. So yeah, I design everything right on the page and all that, so there's no like extra bonus stuff to use.
Never thought about that. That's really cool. On the flip side, not the author, but on the drawing stuff, is there something that when it does come across, you just kind of roll your eyes, like you're drawing? I know a lot of artists are real divisive about the thing because they're like, all the rocks and they're trying to figure out how that. Like, is there anything that when it comes across, or backgrounds or feet pouches, whatever, like, is there something that you're just like not slog through, but kind of have to take a deep breath and dive into?
Yeah, I think most things you can figure out the workaround, and it's not even a workaround, it's the thing, a way to excite you as an artist to put it on the page. Like, crowd scenes are tough, just because it's a lot of people, but there's ways to figure that out too. You pull the camera back, then you don't have to draw every little person, you can kind of vaguely do it. But everything has its own challenges, and that's kind of the beauty of art, is that figuring out those challenges and figuring them out in a way that excites you. Because if you view everything as black and white, like, oh, it's a crowd, medium shot, so I have to draw all these people, that's just how it is, like, you'll burn out instantly. But finding your solution that excites you is kind of the whole game.
Yes. I agree with that, and I like to expand it. Sometimes I think the same books have a relation to life outside of the comic book, so it's not always figuring out on paper. Sometimes life gives you answers. Sometimes, I don't know, I've drawn stuff in books, and I wonder how am I going to fix that or solve that page. And speaking with my wife or having a real life problem or whatever, and I find this beauty that sometimes, as it said, art imitates life. Well, I think most of the time they're talking to each other. So I think if you look around your house, your immediate life, circumstances, you're gonna find a lot of answers. So it doesn't have, not everything happens in the realm of the comic books. We are human beings as well as artists, so a lot of things come and emanate from within us, but also from the things that surrounds us. So sometimes, for example, I remember a family member passing, and I was drawing something related to that. So most of the things I lived through a funeral, I tried to draw and sketch something related to it. So we draw things from inside, but as well from our environment.
Yeah.
So.
Y'all are getting great knowledge dropped on y'all today. Like, this is, has there ever been something that maybe was kind of, you had to, refresh and stuff, but then it clicked for you and you're like, okay, no, I love doing this. And like, something that you've learned to do that maybe at the start of your career, either you weren't a fan of or it wasn't a strong suit for you, but now you're like, hey man, I'm proud that, look at my journey on beards, or, like.
I don't know if there's anything specific. I mean, I will say when I go through a script and I do my first pass reading it, and I'm like, ugh, this page is gonna be a nightmare. Those are always the best pages. And all the pages that you're like, oh, awesome, I can knock this out, they take you forever. Because it's, in your mind, it's so black and white and simple, and when you start doing it, you're like, oh, this is as interesting as my brain had made it out to be, so now I have to make it interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think being aware of the process of being an artist is also acknowledging that we all have different ways of functioning. So there's no one way, and I think, at least for me, whenever I'm stuck, or you were mentioning about, your question was precisely about something that you can see an evolution, right?
Yes, yes.
So I think, for example, I used to get worried a lot. Like, oh my gosh, I want to be this type of artist, or this guy's doing this, or he's doing that, and I want to be like him or like her, or I want to do something else, be better. And it used to stress me a lot. But with decades, I've learned to love my work and love my experience and my process. So for example, I would do something else that is not related to art when I'm stuck or when I want to solve things. So I would say my process is not within the drawings, but how do I relate to the artwork?
Yeah.
Like, what's the feeling that it's giving me? So I will do something else, and then I will get back, and it's already solved. Like, if I step away from the page, and I'll do, I don't know, I'm learning to do my car brakes, so it's mechanic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So good and dirty, hurt, just figuring out stuff, watching YouTube videos, doing something else. Like the artist's mind is already like working on the side, figuring out stuff. So when I get back, pressured by the time that I'm in I don't know, I have to turn the page back into to the editors, it's already solved. So I've learned to trust myself.
Yeah.
So I've seen an evolution there. How do I engage with the page? Because it's difficult. If I were to give you a script, I'm sure it will put you into trouble. How am I going to break this into panels? There's certain amount of things happening at the same time, and so many details, and I have to finish it for 2 days. It's too much. It's overwhelming. As soon as you finish a book, there's another script waiting for you. So there's no resting time.
Yeah.
So you have to balance it.
You kind of mentioned your process, and I wanted to ask about that. Do y'all have any weird tradition, like hand exercises or a playlist or something you do before you, like, to put yourself in that mind frame? Or is it just, I mean, I know you're always in the artist mind frame, but, to get revved up to get that deadline and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I sacrifice a goat before every page.
That's what you were doing this morning,
yeah.
okay.
No, I mean, I love my studio and my setup, and I got the music or the podcast going, and all that stuff just helps me focus and get on. I'm very much a person who needs like internal distraction to create. I'm working in complete silence sounds like the absolute worst nightmare to me. But yeah, I don't, there's no like real, I will say, like, kind of answering this question and the last question, I don't know if you're the same way, Blum, but I've talked to a lot of different creators who fully subscribe to this, but 99% of my creative ideas that are gonna happen in a day happen during the shower. That's where it clicks. I remember Jason Aaron talking about how, like, anytime he's stuck on something, he just goes and takes a shower and he's figured it out.
That's why he's so clean, so shiny.
Well, as I was saying, besides being an artist, I think we must not be afraid of say the things that we do to find inspiration, right? Because actually, we all have different ways. Even getting drunk, going outside, buying a cute dress for our wives. I don't know. There's plenty of stuff like walking with or your kids or your pets, or there's plenty of activities that's what makes us human beings. And so when we are at ease, when we are ourselves, when we are dizzy, having a headache, all of the time the artistic thing is working. It's not like it's separate from us. It's not something that we have to conjure. It's ourselves, it's our cells, it's our bodies, it's our consciousness. So it's always working. It's just under different circumstances. What I've learned is that as far as I'm stressed, it's not flowing as easy as when I'm happy, relaxed, at ease, in love. I don't know, feeling happy and just steady, right? Healthy, probably. So I think for me, most of the artistic parts come when I'm relaxed, just like that, relaxed, at ease. So have a drink, have a walk, take a walk, do some exercising, walk a little bit, just sweat, or do something else, right? And that's when it comes. And it's very natural. I think when you have to force it, then it's not good. Just for us, it's supposed to be natural. That's our ecosystem, right?
I'll sit here and talk all day, so we'll open it up to a couple of questions. If anybody has any, just raise your hands.
Get weird.
Up here at the front.
What happens to the original drawings that you guys do? Like, do you guys get to keep them, or I know you get sent off to color everything, but like, you just never see them again? Or?
Yeah, so that's a good question. These days, it's all sent digitally. So, you know, if you work original, you still have to scan it, send it in. It's back in the days slightly right before our times where, like, oh, when's FedEx closing? And you had to run and get everything, and then it showed up to DC all bent, and then they had to figure that out. So now that's all digital, but we get to keep our art for our sales and stuff. I'm mainly digital in the whole process, so I don't have a ton of like original art, but the process is we would get to keep anything for, you know, resale.
I believe it was no, not Arthur Adams. It was Neil Adams.
Yeah.
And that group that won a legal battle, and thanks to them, we got to keep our
Yep.
originals. They won a legal battle, so we are being benefited by their efforts. So we do keep him, and we can sell him as we seem fit. So what publishers have done is they have lowered the pay rates, so they're balancing out what you're getting with the original art, because they don't receive anything from it, only the IP, right? So we keep him, luckily.
Yeah, so back in the, what is some of the lawsuit, back in the day, the publisher would keep everything and do everything, and these guys were just out of luck, like.
Even
That was
then, though,
before
they didn't really
conventions and
do
stuff.
anything
Yeah,
with it.
they
In
just
fact,
throw it in a
there's
drawer, throw it away.
all sorts of amazing stories of interns at like Marvel and stuff back in like the 70s and all that, who were just chucking reams of original art in the incinerator just to make space for stuff. It's travesty.
Hurts my heart. What you got, please?
So, Milan,
Yes, sir.
you were saying you work on, instead of reading the entire script, you kind of let it reveal itself as you're working page by page. So are you saying from like start to finish, or like layout by layout? Are you going from finished page before you start on the next one?
No, we have to turn in the layouts beforehand to the publisher. So they'll give us notes and reviews, adjustments that we have to go through, and then send them back. And once approved, then you get to work on the final pages. But no, I was referring to the layouts specifically. I think that's the break point where everything gets translated from text to visual. And I think our work as an artist should be very uncontrolled, like chaotic. That's what I think. I pretty much like that. Yeah, to let it come to us. It's just that a lot of people try to explain. That's what I've been feeling lately. That a lot of people try to explain very intellectually their processes, and it's actually very weird, very strange. Some people dream pages. They have a dream of a story, and they're afraid or they shy away of saying it how it is. Like, yeah, I was drunk, and I don't know, I had this weird dream of a story, and it's a great story, or a page, or whatever, or an image, a visual thing, a vision, right? And it's very important. That's what artists do. We have visions.
Talking about your visions and things, when you're drawing, y'all work Marvel and DC and stuff, where's that line of bringing your voice and your design to an established character versus, still respecting the Batman and the legacy and everything, but put your spin on it, versus like when you have an original book, an indie book or something?
Yeah, I mean, the short, real answer is the old idiom of beg for forgiveness versus asking for permission. I tend to have gotten a lot of stuff that I didn't think would be possible, just in style and stuff, through just because that's what I did, and they're not going to change it at that point. But I think that's just how you develop, the way you work with editors and how they understand how you work. But yeah, I mean, we all put our visual spin on any of these characters. We're obviously not just, copying a character sheet or anything. And I think that's a completely natural thing too. It's what comes out of your pen, your utensil, is you. So don't try to be other people.
On my part, I'm a comic book illiterate, so I do not know the character backgrounds, stories, lores, or fundamentals. That's why it appears to be for me very easily to create new things, because I don't have a point of reference. So my ignorance is playing to my advantage. So I don't ask, I try to figure out stuff and trust myself, just trust in myself. And if I make a mistake, they'll tell me. And I can easily change the costume or whatever, but I don't really I don't worry, I'm not a fan, like a reader. I think my job, as I mentioned, is to expand. So I trust myself, and if I make mistakes, I'm happy with it. Yeah, if they want me to fix it, it's all right. If not, that's a new lore, right?
Any other questions out there? Derek?
I know there's no real set style for writing the comic book script. Every writer's going to have a different way they tackle a script. As artists, what is your preferred way to receive a script?
I personally like a full dialogue and everything. Blom might school me on this, but I genuinely do not understand how the traditional Marvel method works. Because so much of what I'm trying to decide when I pick acting choices and stuff for my characters is what they're saying. I need to get into how they're feeling. Especially I look at something like Mr. Miracle, where sometimes panels change just by a weird tick of the face or something, just to get that emotional connection through. And so I feel like I need all that information. But then again, I'm also blessed with a writer who will adapt to my thing. Thank God, I've never had the experience where I've had a writer be like, no, redraw that. That's not what I said. Yeah.
So I'm not in the position to ask for any change from the writer yet. So whatever has come to my desk, I always feel that I have to make my best effort to portray what's said in the script. So instead of trying to fight it, what I would try to do is sneak some type of design in the page where I can sell it, make it more like, how do you say this? That it has, it's more appealing to someone to buy it. So I'll turn what's written, and sometimes I will decide on the size of the panels, just to make it look more, because we have a double intent, right? To produce the story, but also to sell the art. So we have to try to balance it and make it more attractive. And sometimes I get away with it, and sometimes the writer will say, this is not what's intended, go back, please. So yeah, that's why there's layouts before the whole page, right? It's easy to discard a sketch rather than a full page. Sometimes I get I don't know, lucky and I do what I want, and sometimes it doesn't work. But I think probably if they were in our position, they will try to sell it as well. They will make something that people want to buy. If they were in our shoes, they will choose wisely their panels instead of sometimes trying to tell their own story. They will have the interest of selling it.
Y'all, real quick, let's just look at these up here. What are y'all, right? Round of applause for these. Look at those. Those are awesome. All right, any other questions in front right here?
What would you say maybe helped you like develop your own style? Because I know as artists, I agree everybody has their own style. But if an artist, like say a young artist wants to grow and like maybe expand in that career, what is like the best way to practice and also like motivate yourself to, do things that you might be scared of drawing or, that kind of thing?
That's a great question,
Yep.
actually. For me, so the thing I tell a lot of like young artists when they come to the table is that all those things that you're scared to draw, if you work at that and you get it, like, it makes drawing so much more fun. And the more fun you have, the better your drawings are. And the more you learn, the more fun you have. So there's, don't be afraid, like, if you get, oh God, the script says there's a bridge. View that as like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to draw bridges. This is gonna be cool. And then when you do it, you're like, now I know how to draw bridges, or at least that one time. But it's tough. Kind of lost my train of thought here. But what was the first part of the question?
No, you're okay. I've gotten to the point where I've understood it's challenging for sure, like art itself. Because you always have to go draw the next thing. You might not be super really familiar with it, but you kind of go and talk it out, and that's how you learn, But I guess yeah, you gotta practice on certain things and you gotta push yourself. So I guess my question was what advice would you give to a person to, keep challenging themselves in a way, and then also balance it to where, you want to keep a consistent flow and also
Yeah.
not make yourself go
Yeah.
through an art block kind of
Oh,
thing.
so style too, that was the first part of the question. I firmly believe style is not something you should aim to achieve. It's what comes out, and that's just your style. I think if you're just aiming for a style, you'll never hit it because you're aiming for an unattainable goal. But be open to being influenced by the things you love and that excite you. I'm completely obsessed with 40s through 70s ad illustration, and I bring a lot of that to my work because that's just what excites me. And I can look at that and be like, oh, that's a really cool way to draw this, and then I try to bring that to comics, and all the things that excite you will make everything so much better. So never try to be like, oh, I love Stuart Immonen, so I'm just going to draw exactly like Stuart Immonen. And even if you try to draw like him, but it's never going to work. Just do the stuff that makes you happy.
When I was speaking about chaotic energy or chaotic creativity,
I would say that we are forced as artists to not just find a style, but we're pushed to draw too many hours a day, too many days a week, too many years. So we are rapidly evolving. We don't feel it, but if we were to count the amount of hours and time we have put into drawing, it's uncanny. I mean, and sometimes it's 12, 13, 14 hours a day, something crazy, and sometimes the deadline is crazy. So it's the same for years. So you end up developing your style through forcibly deadlines and the amount, a body of work. It's not something that you're gonna find in one day and it's gonna be there forever. It's something that you come across through a long-lasting process, right? Sometimes it takes decades. Sometimes for people it takes, I don't know, a couple of years. We're all different. For me, it took so many years that I still feel my style is evolving, changing, and I admire so many artists that I really like to look at their work and feel amazed and engage into the wanting to draw more. I want to be as good as them, right? And then I look at my work and I see it's becoming better and better. So I think it's like sports. The more you do it, the better you are at it, right? So instead of doing 3 hours, maybe push it to 6, and you're gonna notice daily, 6 hours daily, you're gonna notice how it's evolving, right? But it's a process.
And what was it, Chuck Jones said you have to draw like 100,000 bad things before you draw a good, or something?
Yeah, something.
100,000 hours, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We got time for like 1 or 2 more questions.
Is there a character or like a team that you want to draw for, like in the ongoing series, like a cover or anything?
I was gonna ask that question. The question was, is there a character or something, you know, like, Mitch, do you want to draw a Daredevil book, or Belong, do you want to draw an Assassin's Creed book? Because I would buy both of those.
It's a tough question. I've been very blessed in that I've already gotten to do a lot of my dream books. So I mean, obviously, I just want to continue more Batman as much as I can. Batman villain-wise, there's a good number of them. I really want to do a Man-Bat book.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I'm secretly, well, not so much secretly, but I'm a big horror guy, so like, I love to bring that horror aspect to the DCU.
For me, I've always dreamt to draw Hellboy, so probably I hope one day I'll get the chance to have something, at least be PRD or some of those characters in my drawing board. I'll be happy, and I'll die happy.
Put y'all in a horror book, and it sounds like we're good to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, any up here in the front? Yeah.
Yeah. So, follow me along for just a second. I apologize for the roundabout way this question comes. There are professional athletes that refuse to watch the sport that they play when they are not actively playing it because that's their job. There are also professional athletes that will be the ones collecting the cards and collecting bats and autographs because they love the sport so much. Which one do you fall in? And if you aren't a collector of your artwork or other artwork, what is it that your collection, that the items that you collect that you bring you joy, I guess is the way to put it?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm very much a comic book fan. I will say the time in which I have to read them has greatly reduced. I have literally probably a year and a half of backlog of reading books, but I still have them on a layaway, you know, at my store. But my specific nerd these days, thanks to my sons, obsessed with Pokemon cards. That's my new thing. It's pretty new. But yeah, that's the thing that, like, when I'm done drawing my new nerd, that there's some people that, like, they draw comics all day and their way to unwind is to draw something for themselves. Mm-hmm. Those people are insane.
For me, I honestly admire and advocate and love artists. So when I have the privilege of meeting one, sometimes they'll ask me to trade, and those are my most treasured items. I have not much, not many, but quite a few drawings that I've traded or some artists have given me or I bought from them, and I treasure them. You don't know how much, because I think it's something quite remarkable. People probably take it for granted, but I think it's a wonderful miracle to do art. So not just the object, but what it represents, like the person behind it. So whenever I have a drawing from someone that I admire, it fulfills my heart and warms my soul to treasure them. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna figure out how to open this box, but while I do that, if y'all wanna talk about what y'all have coming up that you can talk, even if you can't talk, no, we're recording all this, I guess you gotta be. But, yeah, like, what you have going right now, or if you have any cool projects coming up.
Yeah, I kind of already talked. My main focus lately has been the Mr. Miracle animated show, which will hopefully come out at a time I can't talk about. There's a lot about it. We should, like I said, we should be doing casting announcements soon, which is going to be very fun. Other than that, I have the one-page thing with Scott Ackerman and the Chips Zdarsky Mad special, and that's really it at the moment for things coming out. I have a lot of covers coming out. That's about it.
I'm working on a children's book for Marvel. It's called Marvel Mots, and it's the puppies from the Marvel universe. So I always wanted to do something for kids. I don't have kids. I haven't been blessed. So it's been an honor for me to work on that. I'm pushing and giving everything I have for it to be a lovely book and a whimsical, happy book for kids. And after that, I think I'm gonna do something for Rocket Raccoon, and then I'm gonna step down from working with Marvel and probably trying to branch with other companies. I've been doing it lately, working with Udon and IDW Boom. So I want to branch out and step onto new territories. I've been with Marvel for 5 years, and I think it's healthy to not getting comfortable there and trying to look out for some new adventures.
All right, y'all done? I don't know if time's up, but I'll leave it. All right, so the way this works is, I'm gonna call your tickets, and bear with us for a second, because I have to get pictures of them with the art and stuff, but.
I want a ticket so I can win Bloms. Cow.
Oh, look, I won them all. Okay, here we go. We'll go left to right, so start with the bottom. We have ticket number 9855833.
Dang.
Yeah.
Bravo!
Yeah. We gotta get pictures real quick. Then I'm gonna get pictures like you guys holding them.
I need one too.
Wait a second.
Time's up.
Yeah, man.
Wait a second. There we go. So I'm never satisfied.
The king couldn't have done better himself.
All right, and then if I get you guys to each hold up your.
Oh, sure.
Thanks, sir.
Cool. All right, was it 3-3? All right, and now the Mr. Miracle. This thing was worse than the mother box stuff.
Good job. Sorry, I didn't know it was working.
All right, 9855826.
Hey,
Right.
bravo.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank y'all so much for coming. We're here, not here, they're out there another hour before we close.
Are you
Come
taking
by.
this one?
They can do.
Or-
Which one did I win?
You want belongs?
Oh.
Yeah, you want pardon.
Yeah.
Pardon, sorry. Somebody in this room will get real mad at me if I mispronounce that. But yeah, you can go by, they have original art, you can get commissions, I highly recommend that. Hang out, talk, buy some books, some prints. They're gonna be here all day tomorrow. Yeah, y'all both here all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, thank you again so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the very first Sketch Duel. My name is Lance, and we'll see y'all next time.
Cool.